Welcome to the Autosportradio.com 2019 show. I'm your host, Don Kay. We are live from McGilvery Speedway at 30th and High School in the beautiful town of Speedway, Indiana. When you come into town for an event, and the next one at the Speedway, among others, will be the, the Magic Vodka, what the heck's it, the Vodka 400, I forget what it's called. Anyway, it'll be up the end of the month, and of course before that is the BC 39 midget race on the dirt track in turn 3 of the Speedway. When you come into town, make sure you stop by McGilvery's. It's only about 1.5 miles, 2 miles west of the Speedway. Come on in, food's good, service is great, and the adult beverages are ice cold. Tonight's show is presented as always by Honda and Honda HPD, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, NTT IndyCar Series, and SVRA. When you need a dentist, although people just don't like to go to a dentist, but if you have to go, take my word, the best place in town. Dr. Jack Miller and Dr. Liz Lewis, his wife, has the Indy Dental Group. They are spectacular. You need an appointment, give them a call, 317-846-6125. How many went out to see the SVRA? How did you enjoy it? How about that? Willie T was here and he won. He won his division, and the other division was won by Boris Said. It was a good show. And one of the things that SVRA does is they raise funds for a cancer, and I can't think of the lady's name. She lost her son to brain cancer about 10 or 12 years ago. She lost her husband to brain cancer, I think 5 or 6 years ago. She's had a foundation. SVRA has raised up till this weekend about $800 and some thousand for it, and they took in a little over 35, close to 40,000 this weekend from there. In case you don't know, I'll tell you, the next NTT IndyCar event will be in 2 weeks at Pocono, the ABC Pocono 500. And while you're there, if you are there, you want to check out the classic racing times. They'll have the vintage Indy cars. They've got a good selection coming out, so make sure you look them up and tell Gary Munshine I said hello. My next guest next week, first one scheduled, will be somebody you probably haven't heard of. Her name is Ruthie Forbes. She will be here. As of today, she said she would be. And August 23rd and 24th, the cars of the Vintage Indy Registry will return to the WT Raceway at Gateway in Madison, Illinois for the second annual edition of the Open Wheel Icons. The Vintage Indy cars will share the oval with the NTT Data IndyCar Series over the Bommarito 500 weekend. Over 30 legendary cars are expected in the fan-friendly Vintage Indy paddock. Early entries include the 72 All-American racers Olsen Eagle of Bobby Unser, Joe Leonard's 1968 Indy pole-winning STP Lotus Turbine, and Johnny Rutherford's 1977 Bud McLaren. Several former Indy 500 drivers are expected to be in attendance and behind the wheel of the historic machines. The Vintage Indy paddock area is free and open to all ticketed fans. The Vintage Indy Registry prides itself in the slogan, "Driving Indy Past into the Future," by connecting newer and younger fans to the history of all things Indy. Tickets are available for the Bommarito 500. You can purchase them online at www.raceway.com. And don't forget, if you haven't been to the museum yet, go over and see Marty and see the Mario Andretti display. It's a fantastic display. You'll enjoy the heck out of it. So get on over there. Tell Marty you're there to see it, and she'll guide you personally. All right, you won't, I'm lying. If you are a bike rider, McGilvery's has bike night every Wednesday. Starts at 6 o'clock. If you got a bike, come on over. Sit around with your friends and talk about bike riding, where you go, what you do, and the newest equipment. My first guest is a gentleman that I have very honored to have join us. He has been here. This will be his third time. He is the lucky vice president and does the promotion of events, signing up tracks, puts the schedule together, as well as negotiated NBC television contract. And I'm very pleased to have him here because I got a bunch of questions. I get them all the time, so I'll get to ask him. Please welcome Mr. Steven Starks. How, from start to finish, when you go to a racetrack, who's contacted you, said, we're interested, let's talk. How long does it take from start to finish to sign them?
That's a great question. First, thanks for having me again. This is, as you said, the third time. I thoroughly enjoy my visits here every time I come, and so maybe we'll get it right this time. I feel like the first two were practice, right? So, but again, no, seriously, thank you for having me. It depends. It depends on what time of year of the season we're talking to a new event prospect about the next year. It depends on whether it's a replacement situation or we're just, dating each other, trying to figure out whether it makes sense to add that to the calendar. This will be the fourth schedule I released. The 2020 calendar will be the fourth one I've led the development of. And I can just tell you, between Gateway in 17, Portland in 18, Coda and Laguna Seca in 19, and then we'll see what happens for 20. All of the additions and the venues that we've added to the schedule have kind of taken shape in different ways. The conversations have spanned, different time periods in terms of how long it's taken to get it done, and the circumstances are just different every time. I didn't mention, but I should have, the addition of remember we added Watkins Glen one of those years, and so it just depends on the circumstances. That is an example of one that was kind of a last-minute replacement and probably the shortest time frame from start to finish. So it just really depends on the circumstances.
Is IndyCar, thus you, interested in expanding the series? Now, I've heard when I've talked to Jay, not really, but then there's two times during the season where there's 2-3 weeks off.
Yeah.
There's room to put things. Are you guys looking at doing that, or does he want to stay at 17?
I don't think there's really a magic number. I think that we like the 17 event schedule. Could you foresee the time where you have 18 or maybe even up as high as 20? It just depends. But I know the teams aren't necessarily clamoring for more events. And, those breaks, although you don't like how long they can be sometimes, I think in the grand scheme of things, having some gaps throughout the season is good. And so you just have to be respectful of the cadence. You have to take everything into consideration, like media cycles, what other events are you're competing with, TV schedules, what's going on in different markets, what the teams have outside of racing schedules. So, we look at it and evaluate it each year, but I think 17 is about right. And so we'll continue to review it, but I don't think it's a situation where we have to add events to get to some number that I've heard float around like 18 or 20. I think 17 is about right, but that could change. It just depends.
Well, I hope it does, because one of the venues that I understand from somebody I know down there is interested is Richmond, and it was before your time, I think. You were practicing law in town and weren't messing with the race cars,
Right.
but the time we were there, we got there the first year, the grandstand along the main street was pretty full.
Right.
And as we went back every year, it kept coming around turn 4, heading to 3, and coming through 1 and heading to 2. And I said to Mark James, who I was spotting with 4, if another year of this, we're going to have to find someplace else to go, because the crowd, and all of a sudden they stopped it.
Yeah.
And the people, since I don't work on cars anymore, never did. I clean the shop and clean the cars, that stuff. I go around and talk to fans. What do you think of the IndyCar here at Richmond? Holy smoke, are they fast? No kidding. They're a lot faster than NASCAR. They're a lot faster than NASCAR anywhere. It doesn't really matter. And they enjoyed it, and it was coming on and stop. So I hear that there is a possibility they could come back. Have you talked to them?
Yeah, I think last time I was here I think we talked about the possibility of Richmond becoming a part of the NTT IndyCar Series schedule. And look, people have fond memories of the last time we raced there, or the last stint we were there. I think the communication channels have been open, and it's no secret that we've had conversations about the possibility. If it worked out, it'd be great. But a lot has to be done to make those events A, happen, and then B, sustain. And so we just want to make sure that it's the right thing for both parties before we jump into a new marriage. And if we can get a situation where we feel like it makes sense to add them to the schedule, we'll do it. But I think, our goal is to, every time we think about a new event, to have events that last so that we can talk about them 10, 20, 50, 100 years down the road. And, I think you'll see that lately we've done a pretty good job. I think you'll agree, as it relates to continuity, people, respecting the data equity, knowing on, which weekend in any given year X event is going to occur, and that's kind of the goal. And so we have to make sure we can get it right and make sure we find the right times, the right, circumstances to add a new event before we just do it. We're not just, saying, hey, what track is fun and adding it. We're looking at the whole schedule. We're looking at the balance between street courses, road courses, and ovals. We're looking at the markets, Mid-Atlantic, Northeast, Southeast, West. There's a lot of factors. TV is important, and time of year, and other events going on in local markets. And so we like Richmond, and I think they like us, but a lot has to happen.
There's talk that this could be the last year for one of the events. And it's concerned me for several reasons. First off, I was there at the first one, and I'm talking about Pocono. I was there at the first one, and strange enough, I was walking around. I was an electrician. I'm walking around, looking at the metal grandstands, and I noticed they didn't have them grounded. So I wandered over and looked for the general contractor. I said, these things aren't grounded. What? I said, no, go buy your rights. So we got that was the day before the race. And I've always liked the place. I thought it was a good venue. It's different, and it's a real challenge. But in my opinion, and from the people I know out on the East Coast, nobody knows they're running. I mean, nobody does much of anything. I'm told, we take drivers and we put them on radio or something. Oh, really? Nobody hears it that I know of. Because they tell me, we see nothing. I even suggested to somebody, there was a Formula E racer, it was, 3 weeks ago. Why don't you have an IndyCar there with a couple of people passing out? I mean, the fans are there, it doesn't cost anything, somebody has to pay. But I guess, I don't know. You are in talk with them, I assume.
I knew there was a question in there somewhere. kind of waiting for it. But look, every year for all of our events, I mean it when I say we are reviewing our schedule to make sure that it's the best that we can deliver to our fans and stakeholders. We've enjoyed the time. We've been at Pocono for the last several years, and no decision has been made on the future of IndyCar and Pocono. I hate to hear, the concern you just expressed about lack of promotion. I feel like the event has shown some potential over the last few years, but obviously it's not necessarily the only event that isn't quite where we'd like to see it. And so, I don't think it's a situation of lack of effort. I just think it's difficult in today's climate to get people to focus on large events, particularly when you're competing against so much in the marketplace and just so many entertainment opportunities across the world. So I feel like we'll continue to have conversation. We've had many with the leadership there. They know where we are. They know what we want to see, and we'll continue the dialogue. And we're really excited about being there in a couple weeks. And so let's deal with that first, and then we'll come to a conclusion on how we're going to move forward on that event. But again, I just want to stress for this room and for everyone that no decision has been made on Pocono. But the moment we have a decision, we'll let everybody know.
There'll be a yippee if it continues. But I was told last year was the first year that they came out on a plus side. That they've gone for the first 4 years or whatever it is, are on a plus. But I can remember when we first went there, the place was packed. And Texas is a place that always amazed me. They used to run down there twice. And one year in the fall race, I was talking to what's the promoter's name?
Eddie.
Yeah, Eddie Gossage. And he said, that SOB, Jerry Jones, scheduled a preseason game against us. I'll show. He drew 92,000 people. The Cowboys didn't draw that many. He drew a big crowd. So he does know how to promote.
Eddie is a colorful character. If it rains in Texas, he thinks God has a personal vendetta against him personally. So I mean, but he's very, very talented and good at what he does, and so I can understand him being a promoter and being passionate about it. Why he feels like anything that competes with his event is a problem. But we have the same things and the same challenges even in Indianapolis as it relates to the Brickyard, for example, and the Colts schedule, and so all promoters kind of fight that same fight. But I hear you.
But you're a winner. That's why you are where you are. And as far as equal between ovals and road courses, there are only 5 ovals. Out of 17 races, only 5. What I get, well, we got street courses and we got road courses. I don't care. They're still squiggly. IndyCar was built on ovals. I'd like to see a couple more. That's me personally. And I bet there's a couple of people here that say, you're right. And I can't hear through the television camera, but I bet they're home going.
No, it's interesting. First of all, obviously, we understand the history and how IndyCar was built, and we certainly want to respect the tradition of our great sport. Our crown jewel, the Indianapolis 500-mile race, obviously, is the oval of ovals, and we don't want to depart from our heritage and tradition. At the same time, more and more for every oval diehard, you find another that says, maybe you only need one oval, and maybe you should just focus on road and street courses. So I think what makes our sport great is the diversity of the circuits. I don't think it has to be a third, and a third exactly as it relates, but I do like the idea that I feel like our schedule, because it has ovals, road, and street courses, really challenges the drivers, and I feel like at the end of our championship, maybe more than some other series, you can say that you have a driver that has demonstrated excellence and mastery of all kinds of disciplines. And I think that's unique. And so we understand what we are and certainly want to continue to be diverse. But I don't know that there's any strict quota on how many we need to have of any given circuit as part of our calendar.
Well, I agree with you. I think, and I've said this many, many times, the winner of the IndyCar Series is probably the best driver in the world. I talked to Michael Schumacher when he was here. I said, why don't you come and run here? I have nothing to prove. Yeah, you do. Prove you can run an oval. Or prove you can run a 500-mile race. I don't need to do that. Okay, well, then don't. But these guys do it, and some of them from Formula One and have come in the past, have come here, and they say, this is great competition. It's really good. So that part I agree with. But again, I'm also told, well, look at the crowds we get at St. Pete. Well, it's wintertime. People are there anyway. Hell, they might as well go to the race and shut the roads down. You might as well walk over and watch a race. Look at Birmingham. Well, yeah, they have a good deal, and they have fans there that fill the place. Watkins Glen was a little bit of a disappointment because they usually drove, when we used to run there, drew very well, but it was kind of a last minute thing.
And the timing, where that Labor Day weekend, where that event wasn't, it's not the optimal time of year for the Finger Lakes region. So, it's kind of the last weekend where everybody can get away from that area. So I don't know. It's not lost on us that there were some challenges at that road course, and that maybe in the future you could consider putting that in a different place, but who knows?
Yeah, but first put another oval in, just to humor me.
No, look, you've been very clear on how you feel about ovals. What I would say is, if you look at our schedule, some of the most well-attended events, to be frank, are non-ovals. I mean, you mentioned St. Pete,
right.
And you did mention, but you should have maybe Long Beach. Toronto.
But they'll show up anyway. If you could run road RC cars and people would show up. It doesn't matter.
It may be true, but it's tough to argue with the fact that they do show up.
No question.
And so all I can tell you is, now there's other reasons for that, right? They've also, those are some of the events on our schedule that have been on the schedule longest, and obviously that matters. You see that if you can last and maintain a good event for the first few years, then you have a better chance of success for a longer period of time. So no question about that, but it's just that it seems that the fans show up for road and street courses in part because the street races in particular kind of breed more of a festival type atmosphere. You're right in the middle of the city. If you think about Long Beach, you think about St. Pete, you think about Toronto, you think about even Detroit at Belle Isle. I mean, those are right in the hearts of cities. Even people who aren't necessarily looking to just be diehard race fans see that something big and important is going on. It activates the city. They come. You got the civic leaders, the businesses that are adjacent to the track that show love and open up their doors, and I just think there's something about that festival atmosphere that fans, even non-diehard racing fans, really love and appreciate, and it gives us that big event atmosphere. So for that, they're very good. But I understand the tradition of ovals and how important it is to the core of IndyCar. We don't want to get away from that. The downside of ovals, as you're starting to see, is that as people get more addicted to their smartphones and have other entertainment opportunities that weren't necessarily available to them back when IndyCar first started, you see that the oval fan base is diminishing a little bit. Those places were built in the middle of nowhere for the most part, where they could put really, really big facilities that include a lot of grandstands. In places where there's a lot of land. And so you've got a whole bunch of grandstands, and they're not necessarily full. And you can see them on ovals when you look at television. And so you've seen NASCAR take some steps to remove some grandstands, and you don't see that same type of empty section of seatings at road and street courses because, for example, in temporary courses, you can put grandstands in as you sell tickets. You can't do that with permanent ovals. And so there's some things you have to think about when you continue to be concerned about growing the sport and the brand. As much as oval racing is exciting to oval lovers, and it is the core of what IndyCar is, we also have to be aware of how it looks and how it feels, and we want our events to continue to feel big and important. And lately, the street courses have been, kind of the best evidence of that, outside of certain exceptions.
But at Mid-Ohio, again, it doesn't matter what they run. They run any event they have, it's full. They have a big crowd.
It's amazing to me that as we're having this dialogue, for every one of our events that is the most well-attended outside of Indianapolis, your response is, well, they would come anyway.
Well, they will.
They will. And all I'm saying is, whatever the reason, they're coming. And so we'd be foolish to not consider that when we're thinking about what new venues to add, is all I'm saying. You might be right, but the fact is, those road and street courses that you named, that I've named, are very, very well attended. And so we have to consider that when we're thinking about, adding ovals. And hopefully we can add the right ovals when it's time to do so, if it makes sense. And hopefully we can turn it around where some of the oval crowds start to look better and better and better. There are ways to do that through promotion, through the way you market and position. I'm not suggesting ovals are dead and that it's an oval problem that can't be repaired. I'm just saying, when you look at events as a whole, it's the ovals that tend to be struggling the most in our sport, and we need to combat that somehow.
And that's one of my complaints, as you and I talked earlier. I think in some areas promotion is lacking, I think, dramatically. However, what is this, the third year at Gateway? Chris Blair knows how to do it. It could be
17, 18.
Third year. Chris Blair knows how to promote. He gets people in the stands.
They do a tremendous job.
And he obviously done well. He's got the Clabber Girl group sponsoring. He's got the Worldwide Technology sponsoring the racetrack.
Absolutely.
When you have a promoters meeting, do you ever get all the promoters together?
Yeah, absolutely. So
make him the main speaker.
Well, they participated in the last one we had in a big way. They were new to the schedule. We knew that they were, about to, or they might have already landed their title sponsor, and we knew that they would have a good event, and they have, and it's great, leadership. Curtis is doing a great job. His GM Chris Blair is tremendous, and their whole team is fantastic. The Bomberito folks, when they got involved, it went to the next level. So they are right now a model oval promoter, and one of the best events on our schedule. So you're right. And that's a good example of what I was saying. It's not that there's not a solution to it. It just takes a lot of work, and a lot of things have to happen the right way to make those events successful. But they're evidence that it can happen.
It's acknowledged in your office, not your person, but in IndyCar, that the Midwest is the key point for IndyCar fans. You probably have heard this before, but there's a racetrack in Kentucky, not that far away, smack in the middle of the Midwest. Used to run there frequently. Now that's gone. Is there any talk with them? I've heard they have something of an interest, but I don't know.
I can just say that I haven't engaged with any conversations with Kentucky, but we've got other leaders in our company, and a lot of people that know way more about racing and have relationships that are far beyond the ones I've developed in the short time I've been in the sport. So it's not out of the question. If it were up to you, we'd have nothing but ovals and no place but the Midwest.
No, absolutely not.
I'm joking, but I can tell you, there's a lot of great oval possibilities out there, and none of them are really foreclosed. Just so you know, I'm serious when I say that every year and all throughout the year, we are constantly evaluating our schedule. We're looking at what has worked, what hasn't, what market areas need to be, plugged in, what promoters we believe in. We're pretty in tune with what's going on and the opportunities out there. So I promise you that I don't think anything's being missed in terms of our options, and we'll continue to review those and hopefully deliver you all a schedule that you're proud of.
Speaking of that, how soon is it going to come out? I have heard it's supposed to be out by Pocono or maybe Gateway somewhere and before the end of this month. Is that true?
It's close, and I think honestly, there's no secret. You know what events are on the schedule, and I just bragged about the fact that we're really, really intentional about trying to be consistent.
Right.
So the schedule ought to look a lot like it looks this year. There may be some changes, maybe there aren't, but I can tell you that we're really close. And I think within, the next few weeks to a month, you'll see a schedule that I think you'll like a lot.
Speaking of liking a lot, you negotiated a television contract with NBC and NBC Sports Network. Are you happy?
I was part of the negotiation.
Well,
yes,
they don't know. I'm making you the top guy. Are you happy? Is your group happy with NBC?
Well, let me ask you. Are you happy with NBC? No.
Well, I don't know what their problem is.
That's the first I've heard of that. I think, by all accounts, having an NBC be our exclusive media partner, and when you look at the ratings and you look at the way they promoted us leading up through, the month of May, kicking off the season, promoting May and other parts of their championship season. Look what they do in horse racing in a way we got coverage we never had about May and the rest of the IndyCar Championship. They're doing a tremendous job, and I think that we've got 8 broadcast races this year, where last year we only had 5 on ABC. So we're on big NBC. Almost half the schedule, which is motorsports. That's not common. So they're serious about our sport. They've invested in the sport. They're promoting our sport. We've got 2 races left on NBC. And so I think everybody, is pleased with what NBC's done. I know we are as IndyCar. Their leadership is engaged. I can't tell you how excited they were to get the property, how invested and engaged they've been. This is the best month of May in a long time. I can tell you they were all here, top leadership all the way down. We are on the phone regularly with them about ways to promote the season. They love us, and so far we love them, and it's been just a great partnership, I think. I think at the end of the year you're going to see a really good ratings picture story to talk about. You already know that throughout the course of the season we've had a whole bunch of wins in terms of improvement year over year in terms of household TV ratings, and that's great news. You saw how we had about an 11% increase in just TV viewership with Indianapolis 500 in 2019 compared to 18. We've still got 2 races on NBC to go of our 4 remaining, and I think we're already in good shape in the year-over-year ratings comparison when you look at it holistically. So I'm curious as to what the negatives could be at this point about NBC, but it's a really, really good partnership and a great first year for them and us.
Well, I have taken extreme notice that I went to ABC, one of the producers, a young lady, and I said, why don't you promote IndyCar? You could put a crawl across or a sport mention. Oh, we only promote the sports we know people will watch. Hello? Wouldn't you like them to watch this? And you know what?
Who said this?
It was a producer for ABC.
ABC. Oh, look,
And I said, you know what happens if you promote the event and eyes get there more? The rate card goes up. You ever think, that's what you're doing? And they didn't think so.
I don't. I mean, you know the history with ABC, especially as it relates to the Indianapolis 500.
Oh, it was great.
More than 50 years.
Yeah, it did
This
great.
isn't bash ABC.
No.
But I can tell you, I've never seen anything in our sport like what NBC is doing.
Right, I agree.
NBC, I mean, it started in January with the divisional rounds and playoffs in NFL. I mean, they were promoting the Indianapolis 500 back then. And then after that, I already talked about, what they're doing in horse racing and the way that they promoted us and interviewed Joseph Newgarden, at races and really promoted our series and gave us all kinds of spots. The way that they kind of think about our series. I mean, they look at it, which I thought was amazing when they thought about the way they promote across the season. It's the kickoff at St. Pete, the build-up to May is one part of the season. There's the month of May, which is kind of a separate season in and of itself, and then May to the finale. And I mean, just the idea that, we have 3 more races on Big NBC. Like I said, half of our races almost on broadcast television. That is incredible in year one. That should continue in subsequent years. Then when you think about the fact that they're really using the way they use their broadcast channel to promote kind of the finale. I mean, we had Mid-Ohio was on NBC. We'll have Portland, which is the penultimate event, on NBC, and then we'll have our championship finale at Laguna Seca on NBC. I mean, that is just an incredible way to promote the event, and it's intentional. It shows that they think about the cadence and the way they want to build up to the crescendo. And it's been really good. Take my word for it.
Well, I take your word for it. You know better than I. But, what I've noticed about, in my opinion, the televising of the races, I think Terry Linger is still the producer, I think, isn't he?
He's involved, yes.
Yeah. They have spent more time this year following back in the field where there's something going on.
Right.
They used to look out the front of the leading car, and there's nobody there. Who the hell cares? They have been, I think their television, in my opinion, has improved dramatically. I like that.
From Sam Flood to Rich O'Connor to Terry to everybody that's involved in the production side, I think they really care about us, and they're really putting their promotion and effort behind the series, and so they mean it when they said they wanted it, and they've shown that, and they've delivered, I think, so far. So,
is NBC happy with the NBC Sports Gold?
Yeah, I think absolutely. The answer to that is yes. We talk to the NBC Sports Gold, SJ and I, our VP of Marketing. We talk to them once a week to kind of check in on things we're doing well, things we need to improve, kinks in it, where we can, kind of better promote it and increase the subscriber base and maybe increase content. We talk about that once a week. So they're actively engaged. I think it's been a great first year for us. I can tell you they're pleased on where we are in terms of unique viewers and subscribers. And so in year one, it's great. So I'm excited about the future.
They got my money.
Good. What do you think about it?
I like it. I think the only thing that disturbs me, and I'm disturbed, Indy Lights isn't there. Now, it seems to me when you're on your way up to IndyCar, it would be nice to have attention of some sort. I try and get drivers in there, people know who the heck they are. Here's a guy comes to say, where did he come from? Well, he was in Lights, but you can't see it. Although I did find out.
Why do you lights races and practices and qualifying is on gold?
Yeah, but they're not. No, they're not.
You're not seeing them?
Oh, I haven't seen them.
All right.
Well, if you go to racecontrol.indycar.com, there you will.
They're on gold. And so
I don't know. I must have hit the wrong button.
Let me take a look at it. I know. So if we could.
He doesn't know. He can't see anyway.
We should sit down and you and I and try to figure out why you're not seeing them. But it's my understanding. It certainly is the intention that Lights is on gold. And so
now, why would they have Rob screaming Howden and Jake or whoever's with him? When you go to racecontrol.indycar.com, you'll see both the. I think you see the 2000, the Pro 2000, and Lights are on there. So I wouldn't think they'd put it on gold as well.
I'm not suggesting that USF and Pro Series are on gold.
Oh, I know they're
but
not.
Lights is on gold.
Well, I must have learned. I got to take a lesson on how to read.
All right.
But, overall, I think the television, I don't know what their objection is. If you are foolish, I mean, if you have the time to pass by after the program when the king gets done and listen to him.
No, sure. Look,
Start to yap.
every piece of critical feedback is important and valued and welcome. But it would be the first I've heard that people weren't too pleased of NBC's work this season.
But one of the things I talk to your leader, not talk to him, email Jay from time to time, I email Doug from time to time, but I go both ways. If I see something good, I'll tell them.
Right.
In my opinion. That's my opinion.
We hope
So they don't say, sorry, what's he complaining about now?
Honestly, I can tell you, we hope we're that kind of series. I mean it when I say that that's the only way we get better. We listen to what folks have to say. Our fans are what make us go. And, when they write letters, they talk, I get postcards from different parts of the country about, please bring an event back to the city. And the same is true as it relates to media.
Postcards? That must be old people. Don't have a computer, so they write a postcard.
I get postcards from probably once a month from one city in particular about bringing IndyCar back. I can expect it like clockwork.
There's talk about going overseas. Why?
It's a great question. I think that, everybody understands that the broader you reach by placing your products more globally, the more eyeballs, and maybe in turn the more interest and investment, meaning dollars and sponsorship opportunities from nations outside the U.S. But we don't know exactly what's going to happen and whether it makes sense to actually be in some markets. We think we know. We understand that in the past, IndyCar, just using races as an example, has raced in places like Surfers Paradise, in Japan, and in Brazil. For sure, where Brazil, which their fans love open wheel racing maybe more than any other place, the U.S. being on the same level. And so that makes sense, particularly when you think about the stars in our sports that have kind of hailed from that nation. So that makes some sense, and that's why Japan, whether it be from a driver standpoint or the heavy investment by way of sponsorship in our sport that originates from Japan, that also makes some sense. But whether a race in those markets makes sense today is still to be determined. But we're always looking at great opportunities. The investment in our sport is critically important to make us sustainable and continue to grow. And at some point, you have to look at sources outside the U.S. to continue to be able to do that and get bigger and better. And we want the whole world to think about IndyCar the way everyone in this room thinks about IndyCar. And so that speaks to kind of the why. Now, whether it makes sense when you sit down and put pen and paper in terms of making sure that the teams are taken care of and that they don't lose money, to make sure there's enough money coming into the sport, meaning in IndyCar, and that the sponsorship dollars are there to kind of support a race. Those are things that we're always scrutinizing. But I think that at a high level, it comes down to just increasing the brand and the exposure. And that's why we want to do it. But again, I can't stress to you that we're not interested in just going overseas just because. We want to do it in places where it's strategic, where we think it makes the most sense to start to grow our sport back again globally and to kind of return it to the days of old in terms of how popular it was worldwide. We think we've done a really good job in the U.S. We think we're, through our media rights distribution, are starting to understand, okay, the Nordics is more interested in IndyCar today because of drivers that come from those nations. Obviously, we've got Brazilian drivers, we've got more Latin American participation, right? So we're starting to see where it might make some sense to go outside the U.S. And so that's the long-winded answer, but that's the why. And getting to the point where it makes sense in economic terms is the difficult part. And I think, while for many years now you've heard about the idea that we want to go overseas, the fact that we haven't done it, I think, should speak to how deliberate and carefully how carefully we're considering the right places to be. We're not just looking to just take a check and go somewhere overseas because we could have done that by now. we want to make sure that going to a certain place for a race is not just intended to go be a quick cash grab, but it will grow the series and can be sustainable like we want our events in the U.S. to be. So that's kind of our general view on U.S. Our international events.
Well, when the contract was put together, IndyCar retained the television rights in Europe. How is that growing? I've heard from some of the drivers that have been here who are native country. I said, is it being picked up? And oh, yeah, it's helping a lot.
Yeah, we've discussed this. I think, it's not just Europe, by the way. It's outside of North America, outside the U.S. Obviously, NBC has exclusive media rights in the U.S., but outside the U.S., the rights are ours, and we are distributing them through IndyCar Media, which is just our in-house, media distribution arm. Look, we are learning a lot more about what our broadcast partners outside the U.S. want. So before, because we had a broker in between us, we didn't know who our partners were. We didn't know. Thank you. We didn't know the value of our rights. We couldn't talk to them directly about the great things that IMS Productions can do, and what kind of additional content we can get on their channels overseas to make them more interested in our product, and then, like I said, to increase the viewership overseas. And so now we're doing that, but it's going to take time before it's perfect. Right now, we manufacture or produce the world feed. We distribute it. They pick it up. We talk to them regularly about any technical issues we're having, what's working. When drivers from those markets have things that are going on off the track, we let them know, and maybe they have us shoot it and put it on TV over there. But we're developing the relationships. So far, I think so good in year one. I think we know more about our partners than ever before. We know the value of our rights more than ever before. And more importantly, they know more about what we can do at IndyCar and IMS Productions to add value to them as media partners than ever before. So I think over the next few years, you're gonna be really pleased, even more than you are, based on the feedback you said you've received from the drivers already, about what you're hearing that we're doing outside the U.S., which at the end of the day is really intended, like any international race would be, at making the world know more than they already do just how great the NTT IndyCar Series is.
You need to get a drink water after that. Now I know why you hired an assistant. You've got a lot to do, and for you to take the time to come here, I appreciate it. And I asked you starting out, is there anything I can't ask you? It's off limits. You said no. And you answered everything. Did you get the answers to the question I asked?
Any more questions?
No. Because I wanted you to come back. You'll say, what the hell else is there to talk about? We already did it once. Well, I thank you for your time here. I appreciate what you're doing and what Jay and Mark Miles are doing to promote this event. This series, and I think without question. And here it's going to probably go down to the last race again. This is about the 6th or 7th year. It's gone down to the last race. So, it's getting close. On any given weekend, there's any one of 17 teams that can win the race, which is fun. There's another series that the same 2 or 3 win the thing. Is, follow the leader, yippee-doo. And this one is good. So I think things are heading in the right direction. I appreciate it. I hope I live long enough to see it when it's back on top again, which I think it can be without question. Are you guys interested in doing a doubleheader with NASCAR? You are kidding. I hope.
Who said never? Look, can't even get agreement in the room, right? Look, at the end of the day, I mean it when I say that we're trying to deliver the best content to the fans. If it makes sense at a race where we think that both series can be, properly promoted, and no one series looks like an undercard, and it's clear about media rights, and it's clear about attendance, and we get the event to be big and better, and assuming that it's either an IndyCar event that NASCAR comes and joins, or vice versa, it has to improve the event. And so finding an event that really is going to move the needle because you add IndyCar to it, or vice versa, isn't as easy as it might sound, because there are a lot of good events out there. So if we could partner in a way where it was meaningful and it really enhanced a NASCAR event, for example, and we could do it in a way where we could each highlight our strengths and figure out kind of the commercial aspects about it, maybe it's something we consider. But I don't know if it's anything like that is imminent. But we've had those conversations because I participated in some of them, and we continue to talk about ways that we can work together. Jay Fry has great, because of his background, has great NASCAR relationships, and I think that because of the work we've done in terms of IndyCar events at ISC tracks, which are now NASCAR tracks, I think we've kind of furthered and improved that relationship. So who knows what will happen, but I don't think you'll see it in 20.
Good. Because when people go out and they watch it, let's run NASCAR and IndyCar here. IndyCar's going 230 miles an hour. These guys are going 180 at best. I think that IndyCar will, people, it's the same with Richmond. They say, holy smoke.
But NASCAR is a great series in and of itself, and NASCAR has its strengths. It's just different. So, I don't think we should be too quick to say which one's better or which one outshine the other. I think the truth is motorsport is better when all of the different series are strong. And we want NASCAR to be successful. And if IndyCar and NASCAR, a partnership between the two at a good event made sense, I think we would look at it. But I just don't know that I can clearly see exactly how it worked, given how many details go into making something like that.
Well, I'm sure. Well, I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And your straightforward answers to the silly questions that I asked.
Not silly.
And I will call you again maybe after the series has been announced, or I don't know, next year. Who knows? Okay. I'll try and get you for the fourth time. We've practiced now 3 times. The fourth time should
One of these is going to be good for sure. So thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Vice President in charge of promoting, Mr. Steven Starks. My next guest will be on his way up here in a minute, and I will tell you about these things. If you need insurance for your home, your car, your commercial property, you got to call VP Insurance. They're located at 5004 West 16th Street in Speedway. Call Mike Pardee. He'll help you out. His number is 317-248-0070. You find out when you have insurance with Mike, he doesn't leave you. You got a problem, call him. He'll help you with it. Make it right. Do you need something embroidered? Anything, a hat, a shirt, a shoe, it doesn't make any jacket, it doesn't make any difference. Stitches 2 on Gasoline Alley is just the place to be. Give Fran a call, tell her what you got, and she'll tell you what you can do and how to get it there. Number is 317-271-3444. And if you are interested in finding out why these silly people like to go and drive an IndyCar, why don't you take advantage of the Indy racing experience and find out. You can go to IndyRacingExperience.com and find a date that works. And in the promo box, put SJ1, you get a 50% discount. Or you can call the office, talk to Shonda. Number is 317-243-7171. If you're looking for a Chevrolet, you got to go to Sam Pierce in Daleville. Find out why the best prices in the country are actually in the country. You take I-69 North, exit 234, go south 1 mile, and you won't miss it. And if you are looking to take a tour of a race shop, why not call Bill and Stephanie Throckmorton? They have a vehicle. They can pick you up somewhere, take you through the shops, and bring you back. It's up to 6 to 8 people. Give them a call, find out about it. The number is 317-820-3595. And the next event for the SVRA will be the 2019 U.S. Vintage Grand Prix at Watkins Glen, September 5th to the 8th. If you're on the East Coast, you got to go. It's a great event. You'll have a lot of fun. And do yourself a favor while you're looking at SVRA. Go to svra.com and subscribe to Speed Tour. It's a great magazine, great stories. It's really worth having. So take care of it. My next guest is a gentleman that has been around motorsports. He used to sneak under the fence as a kid. He's been part of the IMS radio network. He has been one of the most listened to afternoon drive time gentleman on local radio. He's a stand-up comic, and sometimes he sits down. He's a comic as well. He's currently the manager of the 500 Legion over on Georgetown Road, and he's always got something interesting to say about almost anything. Please welcome the man they call the King, Dave the King Wilson.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me again, Don. I appreciate it.
You know, I'm not sure about this, but you look similar. I had a guy here play Santa Claus in December. You look very similar.
Let me tell you, that is the most fun you can have. And I tell you, when you a 4 or 5 year old boy or girl looks at you and their face just explodes, that is the best feeling in the world. And I'm fortunate to work for Pat Sullivan. Most of my stuff up at Pat Sullivan there at 71st and Keystone, and they've got a cool deal. You know, if you've had kids or grandkids, you take them to the mall, you stand in line for half an hour, and then you get like 90 seconds with Santa, and you pay for a picture package. Well, with Sullivan's, it's $50 for a family. And what you do is you go with your whole family, you get on a train, you take a ride up on the Sullivan Express up to see Santa at the North Pole. The ride goes through a whole bunch of different animatronics and this, that, and the other. You get up to the North Pole, there's Santa, I greet you, you come in. You get 15 minutes with Santa, and you get back on the train, you go back. And you take all the pictures you want, and there's no charge. And that is a fabulous place to go and a great place to be, and I'm lucky to get to do that. And the kids, I always know when I was a youngster, I always thought, well, I'll never, as I get older, say, well, the kids today. But the kids today, here's my little boy on my lap last year, Jimmy, and he's on my lap, and we're talking about this, that, and the other. And finally I go, Jimmy, what do you want for Christmas? And he jumps down off my lap, reaches in his pocket, pulls out pages from Amazon.com that he had printed off to give Santa so I didn't screw up. It is unbelievable. That is the best. So yes, I do Santa, and it's a treat.
I thought you looked familiar, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, that's me. And I'm a real bearded Santa. Let me tell you, you know how racing some series like some series. Well, in Santa world, there's real bearded Santas, and then there's designer beard Santas. Yeah, they've politically corrected that from fake beard to designer beard. And I think the commitment a little higher to be a real bearded Santa than it is a. It's the difference between a chicken and an egg, Chickens participating, eggs involved, you know what I'm saying? So, anyway, it's great to be a part of that. I've been so busy, Don. I tell you, I bought a bug zapper. Can't be any happier.
Oh, boy, really?
If you don't own a bug zapper right now, go get one. I canceled cable. I just sit there and watch my bug zapper.
Wow.
And I got that going, and then I bought some ocean sound effects to help me sleep.
Really?
Oh, and this thing's so realistic, you can hear the cries of help for shark victims. It is unbelievable. I truly love it. And I kind of have some breaking news, Don.
Oh.
And this isn't really official yet, but I was told today it was going to happen. So I thought, well, if I'm going to ever share it with anybody, I'll share it with these people. The IRMA, Indiana Racing Memorial Association, has notified me that they're going to have a plaque honoring John Andretti and myself for our 23 years with Kroger Race for All. Unbelievable. They said the biggest hurdle is trying to convince Howdy Bell to say something nice about me.
There's another problem with that.
Yeah.
There's another problem trying to keep them awake long enough to say anything.
Yeah. But I think it's going to take place. They don't have it sponsored yet. It's not paid for, so I'm probably putting the cart in front of the horse. But the plan is for John to come back and the Thursday before the Brickyard and have the presentation at Riley Hospital. And then the actual plaque would be out in Newcastle at Mark Dismore's Newcastle Motor Sports Park, where we've hosted the race for Riley for a ton of years.
Speaking of that,
that's the plan. Thank you.
Speaking of that, how is John?
Well, I tell you, when he was back for this year's race for Riley, he looked great. And I don't actually ask him that because everybody asks him that. So, I figure if there's any news he wants me to know, he'll tell me. And he puts out occasional tweets about it. And but he looked great, sounded great. He's got hair. He's on this experimental treatment. This guy has gone through 24 rounds of chemo, 2 operations to cut cancer out. He told me at one point, and I don't know, he said, I got cancer around my aorta. And this experimental treatment, the great news is that they usually don't put people on experimental treatments unless they think they're going to be successful. And so that brave little guy is unbelievable. And it has taught me so many lessons of humility. We had a situation, because, you know, we have our race variety, and it's fabulous. I mean, Kroger, I got to tell you, they have backed us, and here's what they do. They put those scanners in those stores, but then above and beyond, they take their store managers to the hospital, and they give them a tour of the hospital. And those managers see those sick kids. And let me tell you what, that is a life-changing experience. And so those managers go back with a ball of fire underneath them. Let's raise some money for them kids. And they get managers that will, you know, have a competition between that store and this store. And they have raised, well, I think it's over $300,000 so far this year. And the scanners were supposed to end August 3rd, but I think they're still in the store. But and so we're almost at $5 million in 23 years for the Kids for Ride, and that is great. But let me tell you how it's repaid us, and how helping people when, you know, just helping people will oftentimes come back and repay you 1,000-fold. When John found out he had stage 4 colon cancer, he called me and he said, I don't know how much I'm going to be able to help on this year's race for Riley. Stage 4 got a colon cancer, I don't know what we're going to do. And so we talked about that and the other, and I go, well, are you going to talk about this publicly? And he goes, I don't know. I don't know if I should or not. And I go, well, my opinion, for what it's worth, is that you should. You should encourage people to get a colonoscopy. Because here's guys, at the time, he was 53 years old. And you guys in this room know a race car driver, and he'd been, you know, since he was 12 years old or whatever, get a complete and thorough physical every year. But it does not include a colonoscopy. So finally, thank God for Nancy and thank God for wives, she harped on him, you got to get a colonoscopy. Well, you know how guys are. You're not gonna. Finally, at 53, he did, and he found out he had cancer. And had he done it when he was 50, which everybody is supposed to do, when you turn, even if you don't have any history, then they would have caught it early, and he might not be going through there. And that's his biggest regret of what he's putting his family through. But here's how I can come back and bless you, and things like this can bless you. So he decides to go public with the colon cancer and encourage people to get a colonoscopy once you turn 50 or more often if you've got a history of it. And so this was in May of 17, I believe. And so we had a press conference at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And they had the hashtag Check It for Andretti. It was on all 33 of the IndyCar starters. And then in an unprecedented show of cooperation, NASCAR, which this never happens, NASCAR had the same sticker on all of their 43 starters in the what is it now, the Coca-Cola or whatever it is, the race that night after the Indy 500. The race you sit and watch while you're relaxing. Okay, after you've been to a 500. All right, so... But unbelievable response. So we finished the news conference, and John and I are walking down, and John does some one-on-ones, and I did some one-on-ones, and we're done, and this little boy comes up on his wheelchair. His name is Braden. And if you ever saw Braden, you'd recognize him. And his dad's a member of we call it the Race for Riley Mafia. But he's been a poster child for, and he sits there and he calls, can I talk to you? And we said, John says, certainly. So we go over and he's in his wheelchair. And Braden, at that time, had been through 21 operations. He was 12 years old. He'd gone through 21 operations. And John had just talked about having to have an operation for his cancer, his first one. And little Braden said, John, when I was 2, you came in my room, and you signed this, and he pulls out a Cheerio stock card that John had signed. He goes, you gave this to me when I was 2 years old. I have had it at every one of my operations, and it's brought me good luck, and I want you to have it for good luck for your operation. Unbelievable. So, you know, that has been really the most rewarding thing. If the thing with the IRMA comes true, that'd be fabulous. To be included in a program that includes A.J. Watson and all these other folks, heroes of mine, and people I grew up, watching and things like that, then that would be an honor beyond belief. But it'll really be tough to top that young man. And I think we all just need to really give a little more. For example, I was downtown with a friend of mine in Indianapolis, walking down the street, and there's this guy standing there, and he's sitting there, panhandling. And so I stopped, and I took $10 out, and I threw it in his hat. Friend and I, we started walking again, and he goes, why did you do that? I mean, that guy's just going to go spend it on booze. And I go, what are you guys going to do with it? Right?
Really?
Yeah. It's hard to believe, isn't it? Oh, been trying to diet, Don. You've been trying to diet?
Oh, yeah.
I was on the beer and donut diet. That doesn't work, let me tell you. The beer.
I hadn't tried that, but
Yeah, skip it.
Okay.
Then I tried the Girl Scout cookie diet.
That worked well.
How many boxes of those Thin Mints you got to eat before you see results? That's what I want to know. More than 10, apparently. You ever do that when you're on a diet, Don, in the middle of the night, you get hungry? Oh. You walk in the kitchen, walk up to the refrigerator, open that door, slide a chair on up there. You ever do that? Oh. You'll eat stuff you never thought about eating. Frozen pork chops ain't that bad. Put a little chocolate syrup on there. Kind of a meat brownie. But here's some advice I can give you on dieting, Don, right now, and that is if you eat cookies fast enough, your Fitbit will think you're walking. I just look stupid.
You proved that, I bet, didn't you?
Oh, man. Well, how about this? I've been trying to find things to do here because I'm divorced now after 27 years. And here's what happened. Mrs. Wilson was depressed and wasn't feeling good about life. And so we separated, and then she went to the doctors, and she's been, I still see her. I see her once or twice a week, and she's so much better and in a much better mood and is taking care of herself. And I asked her, I go, what was the problem? And she goes, you. Who'd have guessed it? Yeah. So, well, yeah, and here's the thing, is that when I met Mrs. Wilson, here's where I screwed up right away. Here I meet this beautiful young lady, very smart, very intelligent, had a good paying job, already owned a house, so. And we didn't have a big wedding. We just went downtown Indianapolis to the Justice of the Peace. And I pay that guy $30 and we're married, right? And we go back home, walk in the house, phone's ringing, and I answer it. It's a buddy of mine. Hey, Dave, what's new? I just bought a house for $30. Learned about sleeping on the couch first night, Don. Let me tell you, that's not good. So I've been trying to find things to do, and I got invited to a gender reveal party. Have you heard about these? Have you heard of these? Gender reveal parties? I didn't know what the heck these things are, so I go to the gender reveal party, and we're all sitting around having some snacks and something to drink, and all of a sudden this guy goes, okay, time for the big gender reveal. Well, imagine my chagrin when I was the only one that dropped her pants.
How many people left?
A lot. I didn't know it wasn't. Everybody didn't get to participate, Don. I'm sorry. I'm new to this whole thing.
Well, obviously a lot of things going on in your
Oh,
life.
are you kidding me? I'll tell you, there's a lot going on. I was talking to Marty earlier, and talking about things going on at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum. And she said they get all these phone calls all the time from these companies wanting to talk about the Mormon Wasp extended warranty. I just thought of that joke coming over here, Don. I hope you don't mind me working on material on your show, but. And this would be the audience. I could get it if I said Marvin Wass. Most places would but those annoying extended warranty calls will bug anybody. And I call on Marvin Wass. Get the check number.
So, how are things at the 500 Legion?
We're doing good, thank you. That I'll tell you what, that Legion, I have a special place in my heart for that place. My dad came home from Korea in 1953 and joined that Legion because I grew up in Eagledale. Thank you very much. Thank you. And and so it was just a little red shack at 16th and Georgetown, and so he joined it, and I have great memories of that place. I remember going there for Christmas parties as a kid. I remember going there for Easter egg hunts. I remember I totaled the family car when I was 19 years old. And Dad was a volunteer bartender at the Legion, and I had to walk in there and tell him I totaled the family car. So they're not all precious memories of the Legion, but it had gone through some hard times. A lot of it, not a lot of it, some of it to do with the roundabout. It's difficult to get there. You can't really get there from here, but we've got it back under going there. And I'll tell you right now. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway is bending over backwards to get us an entrance where you can come to the Legion off of Crawfordsville Road. And that's going to happen. And I'll tell you, that's thanks to the town of Speedway is working with it, but it's the Indianapolis Motor Speedway that's making it happen because you know what they think of veterans and the 500. So Doug Bowles and the whole gang over there can't be more supportive.
And they're doing it knowing that you're the manager?
Yeah, no kidding. Well, they issued us both credentials, so how smart are they, Don? Really, if you look at it, you didn't want to question.
Are you still part of the IMS radio network?
I am, in fact, and let me tell you, all right, I will say this is a neat deal. Well, no, it's not.
Okay.
Well, I love being part of the radio network, and because this was my 53rd 500 last May, and so it's been a part of my life forever. I grew up at 30th in Georgetown, and so it was my 17th or 18th year on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Radio Network. Now, let me tell you how life will humble you. And as you get older, you find out life will humble you, and you learn some pretty hard lessons. Even at the place you love the most, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Okay, 2017, Mike Pence, as Vice President of the United States, is coming back to attend the 500. So they say, well, will you interview Mike Pence on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Radio Network? Yeah. I mean, I've known Mike Pence since 1998. When I was on WIBC, they had the big offices downtown Indianapolis, and my office and Mike Pence's were right next to each other. So I knew him for a couple of years before he even ran for Congress. And there's a lot of people ask me, they go, so your office is right next to Pence's? And they go, what happened to you? And 20 years later, he's vice president, and I'm on the Don Kay show. So, all right, so anyway. I don't mean anything by that. But anywho, so to get to the bad part about me. All right, so I'd known Mike Pence for a long while, and when he ran for governor, I got to do it. I got to MC his introduction or his big press conference where he announced he was running for governor. Then when he was elected governor, I got to host his. He had a church part of his inauguration, a whole church service. I got to MC that, so I've been a friend of Mike's for a long while. So I'm thinking, man, this is going to be great. This is excellent. So it's race morning. And I'm there, and as you know, my job, I cover the hospital and the garage area. I'm the guy nobody wants to talk to. Because if you're talking to me, you either crashed or broke, So, yeah, I'm never the face you want to see. So it's a half an hour before the start of the Indy 500. And the deal was, about an hour into the race, I was supposed to meet a guy from IMS Productions who was going to escort me to the second turn suites where I would go up and interview Mike Pence, get me past all the security. So it's an hour and a half before the race. Half an hour before the start of the race, hour and a half before I'm supposed to interview Mike Pence. And the garage area is deserted. There's nobody back there but me. I mean, that's it. And I think, well, you know, I got half an hour before the start of the race, and there's oftentimes an accident at the first lap or two, and so I better be prepared for that. And so I better take care of some business here. I better go to the men's room and get, you know. So I go in the men's room, and I got a belt on that's holding up my pants, and then I got a belt on that holds up all the radio gear, all the broadcast stuff and everything like that. So I get in there and I get everything situated, and I'm, you know, taking care of business, and I'm holding the belt, the radio belt, up with my little finger, and I'm standing there, and that belt slipped off my finger, which caused the river to jump its banks all over the front of my pants, my khaki pants. Half an hour before the start of the race, hour and a half before I'm supposed to interview the Vice President of the United States. Well, I'm surrounded by 350,000 people. I can't just run home and get a clean pair of pants, you know. And I go, oh my God, I go, if I have to go interview a driver at the hospital like this, he's going to look at me and go, I wasn't the first one to have an accident here today, was I? So, man, I grabbed some, you know, towels, and I'm trying to beat the band, and thank goodness, again, there was nobody back in the garage area, so I get on my little golf cart, and I go to the south end of the garage area, and thankfully their sun is out nice and shiny, and there's a breeze coming out of the west, and so I'm standing there in front of my golf cart going, come on, nature. And thank goodness, Mother Nature dried my pants. And because could you imagine me walking? You imagine the Secret Service looking at me with a map of Lake Michigan on my britches. I wonder how quick they would have stun gunned me and thrown me over the balcony. But here's the deal, because you know the infield is covered, every square inch of the infield at the Speedway is covered by video cameras. So you know somewhere on the 9th floor of the pagoda, a guy was going, will you look at that? Wilson pissed his pants. Look at that right there. That guy's an idiot.
So after going splash, did the equipment still work?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I didn't get a hang on it. Just me, thankfully.
Oh, I see. Okay. and how did the interview go?
Fabulous. Except that was the year Dixon got upside down, and unfortunately Mike and Karen were talking to me when that crash happened. I really felt guilty about that because they were sitting right there watching everything until they came to talk to me. And then, anyway, I can tell one more story about being humbled. Okay, back here in the garage area. And so I'm standing back. I'm not standing back there. I'm on my golf cart, and I'm sitting there at the fuel depot. You know what that is back there, because there's shade. And there's nobody back there but me, and so I'm just sitting there, I'm listening to the race on the radio, waiting for somebody to mess up. And again, it's empty, and all of a sudden, around the corner comes this woman, unbelievably beautiful girl, by herself, and she had like on some kind of a uniform where some company had hired her to be their spokesperson that morning, or to pass out stuff. And I see her turn the car in, and she's walking towards me, and I go, man, she's good looking. And again, it's just me and her back there, and she looks up and she sees me, and she starts veering over towards my golf cart. I'm thinking, well, why wouldn't a beautiful woman like that want to come off to the king, right? I mean, maybe she's seen me on television, maybe she's heard me on the radio, maybe she just wants to ask me where her favorite driver is in the field. But here she comes to talk to me. So she comes right off to my golf cart, and I take the headset off, and she goes, the bathroom in the woman's room over there is overflowing all over the floor. I'll get right on that, thank you. So, I'm a big deal, just so you know.
You're making appearances from time to time doing stand-up, are you not?
Still doing a lot of stand-up, and did a show over in Ohio last Saturday night. I got a show at the Greenwood Legion on the 31st of August, and then there's a guy opening another comedy club in Greenwood August 16th and 17th, and I'm doing his opening week there. And so, no, I love going out and telling jokes. That's still my favorite thing to do. Do a lot of churches. That's always a lot of good time. That's a good audience. No, it is. I mean, they're my people. I mean, it's like this place in here. I mean, you guys are my audience, you know. Comedy clubs, I don't have much to say to 20 and 30-year-olds. Well, I mean, that's not bad. That's just the way it is, you know, as you get older. Anywho. But, yeah, I'm fortunate enough to do that. I'm fortunate a lot of people still know who I am. Although I can tell you sometimes, well, at one point, I guess I should tell you this, I had 3 full-time jobs. I did afternoon drive at WIBC, which is a full-time job. I owned one-liners in Wilson's Comedy Club Bar Restaurant down in Greenwood. That's a full-time job. And I traveled with the IndyCar network, you know, 17, 18 weeks a year, and all the month of May, doing all the races. And so, finally, it just got to the point where we decided we've had enough of the bar business. And so, we just sold one-liners and closed it after 15 and a half years. And then 2 months after that, Wally Levitt, you know him from the radio network, Wally comes to me and he goes, they want me to cut somebody off the radio network, off the traveling squad. And I said, well, cut me. Yeah, I still got a full-time job. I don't depend on this money. Cut me off the traveling squad, so Wally cuts me off the traveling squad. And then 2 months after that, I got fired at WIBC. So now I'm a career counselor. But here's what happened. Here's where sometimes being well-known is inconvenient. Being a D-list celebrity, as they say. A few years ago, I had some heart trouble, so I'm in the hospital. And they decided they're going to do a heart cath. And you've probably heard of that, a heart catheterization. They go in, and they go into your veins, and they look at your heart to see if there's any blockages and stuff. And the doctor tells me, look, we do thousands of these a year. There's 99.99% of the time, there's never any trouble. It's a twilight sleep. You're really not even knocked out all the way, but, you know, it'll be great. But still, you're apprehensive. You know, you're like, holy moly, this is not good. So they wheel me into the operating room, and there's all these doctors and nurses and scrubs and masks and everything, and they slide me over on the table, and they're tying down my ankles, and they're tying down my wrists. And you know, if you've ever been in a hospital 100 times a day, they ask you your name and your birthday, right? So this guy's typing in the computer, and he goes, okay, what's your name and birthday? I said, David Wilson, 12255. And the guy stops, and he looks down, and he goes, did you used to own a comedy club in Greenwood? And I'm going, yeah? And all of a sudden, this little nurse man comes from behind him and puts her face right in my face. She goes, you're the king. I said, yeah? She says, do it. Do what? She said, the hood thing. Now let me tell you, this is an audience you do not want to disappoint. So I'm strapped down there going, hoo, hoo, hoo. So the next thing I know, I'm waking up. And I hear the doctor go, great news, no blockages, you're good to go. And I'm thinking, oh, thank God. And I can feel him untying my ankles, and I can feel him untying my wrists. My eyes are starting to open up. I'm starting to focus again. And just as my eyes get focused, that same little nurse sticks her face right in my face. She goes, tell us a joke. I swear it's true. I'm like, oh, man. Boy, the allergies were bad this spring, weren't they? Whew. Yeah, they were so bad, man. My local meth dealer was converting his stash back to Sudafed. That's a chemistry joke, for crying out loud. And I went to Northwest, for crying out loud. I am in over my head.
I've always wanted to ask you this and have it, but I'm going to. You said when you used to get out of school, you'd come over to the Speedway and sneak under the fence. Did you have to bring a shovel so you could... I'm sorry if you got to take a pill.
Texted me going, are you still at McGilvery's? I go, yeah, until Don K says, get out of here. Yeah. I never snuck in. Yeah. Yeah. I never snuck in because I never wanted to get caught and have them throw me out. And so, again, I grew up at 30th and Georgetown. That track was part of my life the whole time growing up. Remember, my grandparents lived on 15th Street in Old Speedway, so went up and down Georgetown Road all the time. And when I was really young, the back of the grandstands, to me, looked like an unfinished building.
Yeah.
I just kept getting, man, when are they going to finish that building, you know? Again, I was 4, so I didn't know much. But anywho, in March of 1963, I was 8 years old, and my dad came home from work one day, and he says, would you like to go over and watch their tire testing? And I said, yeah. And at that point, you know, you would park it outside the main gate, walk right in the main gate, and go up in Grandstand D, and that's where you watch tire tests. And you never forget the first time you see the inside of that track. You know, you walk up, you look at it, and it's like, holy moly. And I mean, my whole life I've been right there. And I'm standing there with Dad, and all of a sudden, Eddie Sachs goes by in a red and yellow Offie Roadster. Unbelievable. So I've been hooked ever since. And I mean, I went to school 79, so you're up on 34th Street, no air conditioning, windows open, it's May. I can hear the cars running. I knew the difference between a Ford and an Offie, and I'm saying, oh, I got to get out of here. I'm trying to learn my Gozendas, and all I can think about is what, the hell's going on at the track. And so we would, from like 1967, the first year my mom and Dad would let me go to the 500 was 67. And so Dad even got a job as a yellow shirt in the third turn in Grandstand Del. That's where I got a ticket so he could watch me. Because, back things were a little wilder. I mean, and so I go up and down Georgetown Road and I see those wooden bridges crossing the creeks. I think, man, those would have never lasted past one night before the 500 in the 60s or 70s, would they? Bill, they wouldn't have, they'd have gone up in smoke, let me tell you. So, but that was my first one, and I'll never forget, and this, I may alienate some people here, but I remember it was a great day. Obviously, it took 3 days to run the race. But I remember the race started, man, and I'm looking up there, and I'm expecting to see Mario, and that damn turbine was the first car out of turn 2. I did not like that turbine, because it didn't sound the way a damn race car is supposed to sound. There you go. And that was, I'm young and dumb, I didn't know, but man, and then here comes Parnelli. And we were sitting in the grandstands that whole month of May saying that STP stood for Stop That Parnelli. And I told him that a couple of years ago, and he said he never heard that. I go, oh, you need to come up the stands and eat Frosty Malts with us. But, no, I never snuck in because, so we were always just there at the track from 1967 to 1973. I never missed a day of practice, qualifications, the race. I was a senior in high school in 73. And then after that, I kind of had to work, and so I missed some practice days. But I've been to every race since then. And it's just, and then Bob and Tom, when I went on Bob and Tom in 1983 for the first time, and had so much fun. It was just unbelievable the fun we had in the 80s with Bob and Tom on that thing. And I will tell you the power of radio, because this kills me. Now, Stephen, I don't know if he's still here or not, but TV is very important to the IndyCar Series. But the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Radio Network has been, they've been covering the race on the radio since the late 40s. And the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Radio Network that Sid Collins founded in 1952 has been going since 52. And these are Arbitron ratings, but they get between 14 and 20 million people that listen to the Indy 500 on the radio, just terrestrial radio, not internet, not shortwave, just in North America. 14 to 20 million people. It's huge. It's huge. A huge audience. So, I forget where I was going with this. But anyway, it's just, I can't remember where I was going with this, Don. I forget. What was I doing? Power Radio. Okay. Thank you very much. So,
I guess I don't feel bad when I forget something.
I'm lucky if I find my way home, Don. So it's the mid-'80s, and we're on the radio, and we got a guy that's doing Mario's voice. And it was one of those years it was later 80s, I guess, maybe, because it was Mario and Michael were both in the 500. And so I'm interviewing Mario. And I said, Mario, I go, you come down last lap, you're coming out of the fourth corner, checker flag's out. Would you stick your own kid in the fence to win the Indy 500? And he paused a moment and he said, call Conkle. All right, so 25 years go by. True story. 25 years go by. I'm walking to the garage area, and this guy comes up. He goes, King, I'm a big fan, listened for years. Oh, thank you very much. I'm from Muncie. Oh, great, nice to see you down here, appreciate it. He goes, I got one question for you. And I go, what's that? He goes, what's Conkle? 25 years later. Is that not unbelievable? Pardon me? No, that was Michael, yeah. Although, you know, here's how I feel bad for them. I mean, I love the Andrettis, and they all do a great job, and they're good friends. And a few years ago, you may remember I had the Fantasy 500. And it was a race with 33 of the greatest drivers, and I had every 2, 3, and 4-time winner at that time. This was in 2004. And I had Michael in it and a handful of other guys. But the last lap, there are 4 cars that are coming down that could possibly win it. And it was Jimmy Bryan, Michael Andretti, Al Unser Sr., and A.J. Foyt. And they all coming down to win it, and Al Unser Jr. or Al Unser Sr. wins the race. Yeah. And I'll tell you why he won the race. Because when I went to Buddy McAtee to get permission, do you guys remember Buddy McAtee?
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable. I go to Buddy McAtee to get his permission to do this, and the first thing he says is, John Andretti cannot win this race. I said, okay. He goes, I think Al Unser Sr. should win it. All right, I will. So it came down to that last deal, and it's just, again, I forget where I was going with all that, but what the hell was I going to say about that? Oh, but Michael, okay, then Michael, I tell him, I go, Michael, man, you finished like third. It was Jimmy Bryan, or it was Al Sr., Jimmy Bryan, Michael, and AJ. And he goes, I can't even win the damn Fantasy 500. Well, if it makes you feel any better, you didn't lead any laps. But yeah, I mean, because he's led more laps than anybody that's never won. So, anywho,
I'm going to add one last thing to show you how well known this gentleman is. It was a few years ago. We were out for the Long Beach race, and I was in Manhattan Beach. And the restaurant I wanted to go to wasn't open yet, so I went to a saloon, strangely enough. And I'm sitting, I had an Indy, I think it was an IRL shirt on. Now I had a tangle in my foot. I had an IRL shirt on. I'm sitting here having a beer, minding my own business, watching some news about California traffic or something. And the bartender says, where are you from? Indianapolis. What are you here for? It's a race. A what? A race. You know anybody in Indianapolis? I said, well, I know a couple people. Why? You ever heard of Dave Wilson? I said, the comedian? Yeah. How in the world would you know him? So I used to work with him. Really? How's he doing? I said, just a minute, I'll find out. So I called Dave. I said, you're not going to believe this. There's some guy here that actually knows you. And it admitted it, and there's people here that heard him. So I handed him the phone.
Yeah. Well, I've met a lot of great people over the years. As you, in your intro, you talked. I got to work with Jay Leno numerous times, and cannot say enough nice things about Jay Leno. He was so helpful when I first started, and he was true. I had red hair and a red beard, and I was a carrot top when I was a kid.
What happened?
I don't know. I don't know what happened, but I guess maybe God just wanted me to be Santa. But he called me Olaf the Viking comedian. That's what he always called me. And he in 1980, I hadn't really even started doing stand-up. I had done it a few times. And he was in town opening for Perry Como at Starlight Musicals. And so I was working with this improv group. We were writing like Saturday Night Live type skits, and then we'd perform it at the Broad Ripple Playhouse in Broad Ripple, which isn't there any longer. But anyway, so we were rehearsing, and this friend said, "Man, Jay Leno is at the Hilton downtown. You want to go see him?" We go, "Yeah." And I'd only seen Jay Leno. Again, this is 1980. I'd seen him on television, but I'd never met a real stand-up comedian. So we go over there, we knock on the door, and Jay Leno opens the door, and everybody walks in, and I'm standing there, and I sit in the back of the room, and I'm sitting there going, "Man, there's Jay Leno. Last time I saw him was on the Tonight Show, for crying out loud. That's a real comedian." And I'm just looking at him. They talked for about an hour about show business and stuff, and finally Leno goes, "So he knows anything about the 500." So everybody looks at me. So then Leno and I talk an hour about the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and it was magical. And he goes, he invited us all to come back a few at a time to see the show with Perry Como. I went on Thursday night. I go by myself, and I'm sitting backstage with Mavis, who was his girlfriend there, now his wife. And we're talking, and Mavis goes, "So what do you want to do with your life?" And I go, and I said this, I go, "Well, I either want to be a stand-up comedian or own my own lawnmower store." And Leno never forgot that. So fast forward to about the last year they ran Fontana. And Mark James is down in the pit lane, and he sees Jay Leno sitting there getting ready to take a two-seater ride. And he walks up to Jay Leno, and he goes, "Hey, Jay, Mark James, blah, blah, blah." And he goes, "You remember a comedian from Indianapolis, Dave Wilson?" Goes, "Oh, yeah, are you kidding me? I know. Yeah, Olaf the Viking remembered all of that." Remember, yeah, he said the funniest thing I ever heard, they didn't know if he wanted to be a stand-up comedian or own a lawnmower store. God damn. What a great guy. I mean, we did this horrible gig one time. How many of you remember a place called Lucifer's? You got to really be a degenerate and old. You don't remember, you weren't a degenerate, though. Good for you. Yeah. That makes one of you. All right. But this was a disco up at Keystone at the Crossing. And it was 3 stories, and it had the first level, and the second level, and the third level. And there was a big opening right in the middle, and they had a little stage at the second floor. And this was in 1984, and I'd been doing stand-up comedy. Anyway, I'd already been doing stand-up a few months. And Leno and I get hired. I'm the opening act for Leno to go do this gig. And I'm not going to talk about, well, I guess I talk money a little bit. Between the two of us, we made $5,030. Now, I'm not going to get into how it was split up. Maybe. I don't know. That's like one time Bruce Springsteen's playing the RCA Dome, and between the two of us, we drew 50,200 people that night. Now, I'm not going to get into particulars about who drew what. So anyway, we do this horrible gig, and they eat me alive. I mean, they're hollering and screaming, and I got no ammo. I mean, it was over my head. And then Leno went up and just for 45, 50 minutes just hammered him, because he's a pro, man. He just wham. He was smacking him out of the room. They'd holler stuff, and he'd come right back at him. So we're done with the show, and we got our money. And Jay goes, "Let's go get some D." Okay, he said, "Hey, come on, Wilson, let's get some D." Okay. You seen this in the paper? I do Santa, Elvis, and Leno, and that's it. You seen this in the paper? Apparently. Anyway. So I said, "Okay, all right, let's get out of here." So we're starting to leave, and this girl comes up, and she is drunk and can barely walk. "Oh, you guys are so funny. Oh, so funny." "Oh, thank you very much." And Jay goes, how are you going to get home? And she goes, "Oh, I'm going to drive home." She goes, "No, you're not. Come on, Wilson, we're taking this girl home." So I'm driving my mom's Buick. Pretty impressive ride. Anyway, but it's my mom's car. So anyway, I'm in her Buick. So Leno and I walk outside. We get my mom's Buick. So it's me, drunk girl, and Jay Leno in the front seat. And we go, where do you live? You know. So literally, we get in her purse, we find her wallet. She's like incoherent. And I see, oh, okay, there's a little apartment complex in Broadwell, not far, just down Keystone. So drive down there, and I go to the address. Okay, there it is. So we walk the girl up to her apartment, and she's got this huge keychain, and Jay's going through there trying to find the correct key to open her door. And she's standing there in front of me, and I'm holding her up by the elbows. She's So Jay finally finds the key, opens the door opens up, it's a studio apartment, and right across from the front door is her bed. And when the door opens, she goes running out of my arms, past Leno, into her apartment, jumps on the bed and says, "You both can have me." Leno looks at me and he goes, "I'm glad you're here. This is the kind of stuff that gets in the paper." So we wrote a note saying, "Your car is out front of the whatever Lucifer's," and we left. So about 7 or 8 weeks go by, and I'm working with Jay again in Louisville. And first day, Wednesday, first night, I walk in the green room, and there's all these people in there talking to Leno. And I just kind of walk in, and he looks over and he sees me, and he goes, "Hey, Wilson, did you go back and get that girl that night, David?" You seen this in the paper there, apparently. Super guy.
He's done well.
He's done pretty good. Yeah.
He's got a boatload of cars. Have you ever been out with his cars? See his museum?
No, I've never been out there to see that. I mean, I see him and talk to him. I'll tell you what kind of guy he is. He had a list of comedians he would call, and about every segment, and he'd go, "I got to make some calls." And I'd sit there while he called 7 or 8 guys every night. He had a whole list, and he'd just, "Hey, what's going on?" Checking on people. Just saying, "Are you doing good? Where you working? What you working on?" And blah, blah, blah. And Perry Como with him. And he took many jokes. How do you, blah, blah. So this, again, 1980. And so he says, "Look, you start doing stand-up." I go, "Okay." So 1982 comes along into 83. And I still hadn't got to do it. And so I still hadn't gotten myself up on stage except for occasionally. And so New Year's Eve from 82 to 83, Leno was at Crackers in Broad Ripple. So I go, and it's been over 2 years since he's seen me. And he just saw me, he looks down at me and he goes, "Are you Dave Wilson?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "I'll talk to you after the show." Now, as it turns out, he had a memory for, have you ever met people that can remember names and faces like that? And he had that, and that can make everybody feel so special. And he talked to me, he goes, "Well, you got to work in," and I worked and worked. And when I got worried about that, that's too wordy. This is this, this is that. I mean, it's phenomenal. And then he was recording some comedy skits for ABC to play during the Indy 500 there that year in 83. So I got to go with him out to the Speedway, and I'm one of the extras. I'm a guy standing there with a helmet on, or handing him stuff and everything. So at one point, we're waiting for the camera crew to come back. They were going to film another scene. We're sitting in the garage area, the old garage area, and people would walk. Occasionally, somebody would walk by. "Oh, there's Jay Leno. We've seen you on the Tonight Show." "Oh, how you doing there? Nice to see you." Oh. Suddenly, these 4 girls walk by, and they stop and they go, "We've seen you at Crackers. You're Dave Wilson." And I go, And Jay Leno steps right in front of me and goes, "Mr. Wilson is exhausted and cannot be bothered at this time." But go to the summer of 86. Now, again, summer of 80 is when I saw him open for Perry Como. I started doing stand-up really seriously, trying to do it in 83, February of 83. Summer of 86, I got to open for Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons there at that. And so I went in the same dressing room that Leno had. And it was a little different. When Leno was there, they had a nice bouquet of flowers and a deli tray and a complete array of drinks all iced down. I walked in with 3 warm cans of Coke. But I was thrilled to death to be in there, man. And I'm sitting there and I go, "Man, I am getting ready to work a stage that just a few years ago I had never had any idea how to do it. And all of a sudden the door comes bursting wide open, and this guy comes in, he's got a pair of pants over his arm. He goes, "You got an iron?" I go, "Man, I'm a comic. I don't even own an iron. You kidding me? Let alone have everyone. These are Frankie Valli's pants, and I got an iron. Frankie Valli's pants." And I go, "Oh, well, that's not my mountain." So off he went. But I got to go up 6 years after I looked there, and 3 years after I really started trying to do stand-up. And I did 30 minutes and did very, very well, and it was just a dream come true to do that. So thanks to Leonard.
Who writes your material? Now, some of this had to come off the top of your head tonight.
Well, yeah, just jack around. But I mean, I'm always working on stuff. And like that joke I did about the Marmon Wasp, I thought of coming over here. I think sometimes things just come to you, and the thing is, you go on stage, you try them. I didn't know if I was going to get a laugh with that or not. I thought I might, because you guys, it's a special audience in here. But you just go on stage and you try it, and if you think it's funny, and if it doesn't work, then you move it around in your act, or you try some words here or try some words there, and that's one of the greatest feelings in the world is to have a joke that come out of your head, and all of a sudden, there you go.
I have to tell you, when you mentioned that Marmon Wasp thing,
Right.
Howdy looked over to Shirley and said, "What the hell's a Marmon Wasp?"
Can I tell you one more? Can I tell one more joke?
Okay.
All right.
Nice
to you.
Oh, we're being.
What is it? Oh, in 2 days. Oh, that's right. Staying fun comedy night fundraiser for Sam Scott at the Moontown Brewing Company in Whitestown, Indiana. Comedy night fundraiser. It's Dave Dugan and I, and that's just up a couple days up in That's Thursday night. That's that gig that Dugan and I are doing. I knew I had something written down on Thursday night, and Dugan goes, "Huh? What?" I go, "What the hell, Dave?" Anyway, these are just jokes. These are just jokes. If I could just do a joke. It's one of my favorite ones. 85-year-old guy is walking through the woods. Out on the path in front of him, this little frog jumps out there. A little frog looks up at him and says, "Kiss me, and I turn into a beautiful princess." The guy stops and says, "What?" And he reaches down, he picks up the frog, he goes, "Did you talk to me?" The frog goes, "Yeah. Kiss me, and I'll turn into a beautiful princess." Well, the guy takes the frog, puts it in his shirt pocket, and keeps on walking down the path. Pretty soon, the frog pops his head up out of his pocket and goes, "Aren't you going to kiss me and turn me into a beautiful princess?" The guy goes, "At my age, I'd just as soon have a talking frog." Honorable.
Oh boy!
I cannot believe the king is here. Can you? I'll never forget the first time me and Priscilla were here in Speedway. Man, this pigeon flew over, dropped a big load right on top of Priscilla's head. She looks at me, she says, "King," because that's my name. She says, "King, can you give me some toilet paper?" I said, "What for, baby? That bird's a half a mile away by now." I cannot believe. And I found out something about Claremont. You know, the population of Claremont never changes. Because every time some girl gets pregnant, some guy leaves town. Thank you very much. I cannot believe the king is here. All right, I'm done, Don. I'm sorry. I'm not a racetrack. Thank you very much.
You know what? Probably one of the smartest emails or texts or email I sent was to you.
The smartest one you sent to me?
Yeah, it was to you.
Yeah?
It got to here, didn't it?
Well, it did, yeah. Yeah. So
that's got to scare the hell out of you.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Well, we learned a lot about racing tonight from Steven Starks, and we learned how to laugh with Dave Wilson. What more could you ask for?
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. And, of course, as you all know, I will call you again.
Go right ahead. Oh, Santa, you know.
I know. You notice I gave a little more room this time. You barked at me last time.
Last year, old Santa almost didn't fit down the chimney. Let me tell you, if you know what I'm saying. Santa had to, remember that? I had to squeeze in. You were up here, and I had, oh, my goodness. I almost had to throw a rope and have her pull me in. Thank you very much.
Well, it's been a fun night. We've run over a few minutes, but I don't think anybody cares. And believe it or not,
Thank you.
Howard is still awake. That's the amazing part. Dave Wilson. And as they say all around town, the King's still here.
The King has left the building. Thank you and good night. I had that guy on my show, you know. That's another story. You better get me out of here. I'll keep talking.
All right, we got to button it up, but thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And don't forget, my first announced guest next week will be Ruthie Forbes, and that's always a fun time with her. Until then, Don Kay, say thanks, good night. Thanks for being here listening. See you next week.